Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k Black Templar Tactics video. Haven't done many of these before and I tend to reserve them for Black Templar Friday. I haven't decided yet whether this video will be going out on Black Templar Friday, although I have some other ideas for Friday. So I'll probably put this out midweek. I haven't decided yet, so that'll be interesting. But basically, this video is going to be a post-game review of the Black Tide. Okay, now I've played 3 games of the Black Tide now against a variety of opponents and I have done really well. I have won all 3 games. Now I haven't played against top tier tournament whacker lists. I haven't played against that, but I haven't played against any weak, useless, just retard lists either. I have played solid middle tier armies, okay, and played by solid middle tier players, okay. No noob crushing, no baby seal crushing, just good old face-to-face matches of 40k, classic 40k. So, and like I said, in all 3 of them, I have won the Black Tide, which is really, really surprising. I didn't think this list would have any mileage whatsoever. I honestly just thought that it would just be a fun, fluffy list, and I'd probably get tabled every game, but that I would have fun charging 100 Marines at the opponent. Well, as it turns out, it's actually pretty good. The theory crafting I had behind the list definitely seems to be paying off, and that theory crafting was pretty simple. It was 8th edition has shown us that Horde armies are really strong. Now, traditionally, Horde armies have to sacrifice sort of durability for numbers. So Orcs, yes, it was 4, but they've only got a 6+ save. Guard, a toughness 3, they've only got a 5+ save. Bug, Nids have only got a 6+ save, but they're like pretty fast, and they don't take morale. Like, traditionally, that's the whole thing of a Horde. Your units have got terrible saves, but you have lots of them. But with the Black Tide, my reasoning was, if people are saying that taking 100 guardsmen is tough to deal with, or taking like 100 orc boys, or about 100, 120, then taking about 100 marines, just over 100 marines, which are going to have, great leadership, great ballistic skill, great weapons skill, and most of all, great armor saves, that's going to be pretty difficult for people to deal with. And it is true. That has been the case. People have been able to delete, 16 to 20 Marines in a turn, which is equivalent to me losing 40 guardsmen in my 200 guardsman list. But in return, rather than my guardsmen sort of floundering and not being able to do much, as was, normally the case with your infantry guard, because it's only 100 Marines, so you've still got quite a lot of flexibility there. You've still got a lot of maneuverability. You're not getting traffic jammed. And you're hitting on 4s, and your basic weapons are like bolters and stuff. It really can take the punch and then hit the enemy back in the face. And yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to go through each of the 3 games I had, what I learned in each one of those games, and sort of overall the lessons that I've learned from using the Black Tide. So the first game, I've already talked about this, was against Deathwatch. Now I know a lot of you will say straight away, oh, Deathwatch, they're a useless army. Well, they're not, okay? My regular opponent, Johnny, you guys have seen him. You've seen him use Deathwatch. He has distilled that list down to 100% purity. There is not a single wasted point in that list. Every single man in that list has been play tested. That's the extent. He knows that army almost better than his Blood Angels now, which he's been playing with Blood Angels for like a decade. He has been distilling these Deathwatch. I would put him as one of the best Deathwatch players I know. Admittedly, I don't know very many, but he's definitely the best one. Now, that was actually the toughest fight I had, because he knows his list so well. And basically what happened was I had 30 Chopper Marines on the left, 30 Chopper Marines on the right, each one of those led by a chaplain, And then I had 40 shooting Marines led by a captain and a lieutenant. And I had fearless across the army thanks to warlord traits and Cenobite servitors. Now, let's have a quick drink. Now, basically, how the list went, he got turn 1 and he deleted, because I had 30 Marines. The Marines that were on the flanks, they were in cover. But I didn't put my shooting Marines in cover because I thought it's only, they'll be able to, it's long range firepower, I should be able to take it. I actually lost 20 Marines from turn 1 from my opponent's long range Deathwatch shooting. And that was my first quick lesson, which is, like any Horde army, I need to stick to cover as best as possible. Cover is really important for this list because it means you get a 2-up save the majority of the time. The few shots he put into my Marines that were in cover bounced off. The shots he put into my Marines out in the open, I struggle to make armor saves. That's why I was a little bit hesitant with this whole army, because I struggle to make 3-up armor saves. I make saves on a 4-up on my neophytes more than I make 3-up power armor saves, put it that way. Anyway, so that was lesson number 1. How the game progresses, it was relic, and I thought, I've got 100 Marines, there's a relic there. If I dogpile 100 Marines onto the relic and try and start moving it backwards, that's going to be really difficult for him to do anything about. And the plan kind of went to plan. Like I said, I had my 30 Marines on each flank and my 40 down the centre. The 30 Marines that had choppy, they moved and advanced forward turn 1. Really got aggressively up there. Used a command point to make sure that I got like a 6 on one of the runs of one of my units. Really got up there aggressively into the field. Now, that worked. But what happened is my opponent counterpunched me. So on the right hand flank, where I had 30 chopper Marines, he hit me with bikers and a dreadnought and a kill team. And he killed another sort of 16, 17 Marines, but I was able to chuck neophytes in the way of all the power weapons. So what hit my opponent back was a lot of my own power weapons, and I had a chaplain over there, my warlord, and I had the Empress Champion. And what I was able to do was just hit back really, really hard. I hit back with another 20 choppy Marines in total, and I was able to dagger them to death as well. I had my 20 Marines that had shooting, put loads of fire support into there, whittled them down as much as possible. But the Marines themselves, even though the chopper Marines were able to throw crack grenades, we've got plasma guns, flamers in those units, and we were able to really severely damage it, and we actually cleaned that out. Really surprisingly, the majority, I think there's a biker left, 2 or 3 guys from a kill team, but we really did a lot of damage. We killed 5 bikers, 7 kill team members, and a dreadnought, and really just cut through them a lot. 20 choppy Marines plus character support plus 20 shoot Marines really just clean them out. And then the same thing was happening on my left hand flank, where he'd hit me with some Vanguard, and he'd hit me with some just with some Vanguard vets, but there's also he'd put a lot of firepower into that other flank as well. So I lost 40 Marines in one turn, but I was able to counter punch because normally losing 40 Marines would be really bad, because I lost 20 on the first turn. 15 on the first turn, and then about 15 on one flank and 15 on another flank. So in total, I'd lost 50 Marines. I was down by my opponent's turn. By going into my turn 2, I only had half my Marines. But that's basically me starting the game, if I was a normal Marine player, with all the infantry I would normally have. But my opponent was within choppy range, and 50 Marines countercharging is insanely powerful. I've got power weapons, I've got re-rolls, and I just cut through him. And after the dust settled, there was a couple of back and forth combats. After the dust settled, my opponent just had... I also had 40 Marines, 35 Marines left over, and my opponent, all he had was a kill team and a Watchmaster and his Corvus Blackstar. And it's hang on, they're going to... And they drop down, did loads of damage, but I would counterattack them again. And at the end of the game, I killed his final kill team, I killed his Watchmaster, and I only had 8 guys left over. Well, 13 guys left over I think I had left. But all he had was a cover, so I won by boots on the ground. So what I learned was I can really take casualties. If my opponent isn't killing 20 Marines a turn, every turn, then he's not doing enough damage to me. And so, yeah, basically it was a really sort of lesson 1, stick to cover. Lesson 2, don't be worried. I thought I'd lost the game my turn 2 when I lost half my army. I was down to half my army. I was like, fucking hell, I'm not going to do this. But I've got to remember this. These aren't guardsmen, these are Marines, and they are designed for combat, and they've got the character support. Everything. There's power weapons everywhere. And what I realised is that I'd lost a lot of guys, but I hadn't lost any power weapons. Basically, I just lost neophytes and chainswords, and I'm okay with that. And bolters, I'm okay with that. So I had all my special weapons left over, and they're the ones that do the most damage. And so that's sort of lesson 2, which is part of the theory crafting, which is I took multiple 10-man units because I wanted to get as many special, heavy, and power weapons in there. That paid off because I lost all my chaff, I lost all my filler, and then what was left over was the real damage dealers, and they really did deal damage. Now, game 2 was a really fluffy game. Not in terms of the armies, just in terms of the list, I should say, but in terms of the armies. Black Tide, Black Templars versus Deathwing, Ravenwing, Dark Angels. And for those of you that know Black Templar fluff, Black Templars, we do not like Dark Angels. Ever since the Odiphium Gulf, where they slaughtered our battle brothers who helped them, we have never ever forgiven them. So I was like, I've got to win this game. For the honour of the chapter, I have to win this game. And I did. What my opponent did is he... if you're looking at this picture, you might think, why has he got a lot of Deathwing Knights in cover? They're actually proxying for intercessors. So don't worry, he's not a bad player. But he had Deathwing Terminators in reserve. He had 10 of them. And he used the strategy where they drop down and they can fire twice. And oh my god, it's insane. But long story short, what happened was he charged forward with his Ravenwing aspect of things. And they've all got Black Knights like power picks and stuff. And he charged in and kind of bounced. Because his power picks, or they're not power picks, they're called like Corvus Hammers or something. But they're only like power axes kind of thing. They're not that great. I wasn't that bothered about them. So he came in and killed a bunch of neophytes. But he didn't have, he had Samael, so he had rerolls and stuff. But it was like, in his turn 1, he killed like about 20 Templars. And I was like, I can deal with that because now the main offensive part of your army is in my face. These 15, bikes and Black Knights. And I just countercharged. That's what you can see in this picture. And that's how many Marines I had countercharge his bikes. And you can understand his bikes didn't last very long. Not with the chaplain. And then the Emperor's Champion went in there and did 4 wounds to somebody else. We had like 1 or 2 left. And then I had a sergeant with a power fist. And he just chose not to intervene. I was like, are you sure? Power fist guys might kill you. He's like, no, I'm going to trust that he doesn't. And that was foolish. Because power fist guy got 2 hits, 2 wounds, and just took out Samael in one go. So that was really good. And then basically his Deathwing Knights came in, but it was a Maelstrom game, and he brought them in behind my lines to try and distract me. And I was like, no, I'm going forward. My Maelstrom objectives are that way. He didn't know what they were because it was Cloak and Dagger. But I was like, my Maelstrom objectives are that way, so I'm going forward. And so I just charged all those intercessors that were in that cover, and just all he had left at the end, he had these 10 knights, these 10 Deathwing Terminators, and like a Dreadnought or something. That's all he had left. And I was like, I'm just going to ignore them. I just ignored them. I was like, I have no interest in these things. And I just won on Maelstrom because I have so many guys. I was just, if I needed to, sprint a squad off to capture an objective, I could do that. It didn't affect me in any way, shape or form. So that was really good. So I was really happy with that because again it showed this my theory of the opponents can come in and they can punch me in the face, but if they get close to me, I'm gonna win the combat. There's no doubt about that. I'm gonna win close combat. My army is designed for close combat. It's 60 chopping marines, 40 shooting marines. It's designed for shooty choppy, and a lot of choppy I did. Also, really showed me that this army can do Maelstrom. I was worried it wouldn't be able to, but it was fine. It was absolutely no problems. So the last game I had, I faced off against the bullshit tree list. You know the list we talked about, the Nurgle bullshit trees? My opponent had 3 units of obliterators. It wasn't the super bullshit tree list. It was a medium version of it. He had the trees and he had the obliterators and he had that Death Star, but then he'd rounded his army and he had his whole army as Alpha Legion. But he rounded his army out with 3 Demon Princes, and then he had 3 units of cultists for tax, and then he had 2 units of bikes. So he had 2 units of bikes, 3 units of cultists, 3 units of obliterators, 2 trees, a Chaos Lord, and 2 or 3 Demon Princes. Oh, and he had 2 rhinos with Chosen with 4 plasma guns in each one. So 8 plasma guns. And what my opponent did is his turn 1, he dropped down. I was really good at sticking to cover this game. The only squad I wasn't able to get into cover was one 10-man squad, so I was really happy about that. Now, he deep struck his trees down, deep struck his obliterators down, and fired away. And he got, with every single obliterator squad, strength 9, AP -3, 3 damage. He just went 6, 6, 6 for that squad. 6. It was like 5, 6, 6. It was just crazy. He got the best roll for every single one, and he killed like 30 guys. He killed like the squad that was out in the open. He killed them, and then he killed like 25 guys. But the thing is, he deep struck 18 inches away from me. He wanted to get nice and close. I don't know why. He's got a 24-inch range. And so I was like, okay. Wasn't even... No, that was it. He deep struck about 15 inches away from me, roughly. 13, 14, 15 inches away, because that he wanted to turn the obliterators to be in cover. That was it. He wanted the obliterators to be in cover. And that was the only bit of cover he could get in while still being in range. So he had to decide, did he want to be in range? Did he want to be safe at long range? Or did he want to be closer but in cover? It was a balance. He decided to be closer. And I was like, okay, I'm going to charge you now. And my remaining 80 Marines, I sent 30 down one flank. And they were facing off against Rhino with Chosen, Demon Prince, and some cultists, and a unit of bikes. Killed all those. 30 Marines with Chaplain and Emperor Champion. Killed all that. Emperor Champion was waiting against Demon Prince and was like, fuck off, and just killed him. Didn't even break a sweat. I mean, I took like 2 wounds off him with like a few bolt pistols and a crack grenade, and then it was just like, right, Emperor Champion. Killed him. On that flank, I hacked a Rhino to death with chainsaws, which was quite funny. And a few power weapons, of course. And then the Chosen jumped out, blasted like 4 or 5 guys, and I charged them and killed them. And then that was on my right flank, and so I was just hacking through him. Got to the cultists at the end with like 10 Marines to 10 cultists, hacked them to pieces. Took the objective that I wanted over there. So I basically said 30 Marines are just going this way, and they're going to keep going forward, and they're going to keep hacking, and they're going to keep whacking, and they're going to keep smacking. And they did. And then on the other flank, I had my shooting Marines and my other chopping Marines. And my shooting Marines just blasted away his bikes. Did a smattering of damage to his oblitz. Got each basically took an obliterator off each unit. And then I charged. And what he had forgotten is Black Templars have reloadable charge distance, which meant I got every single one of my units in. It was 7 and 8-inch charges, and I made every single one thanks to rerolls. I had to use a command reroll at one point because I just wanted to reroll 1 dice. Perfect. And then I had the other rerolls, and I got 30 Choppy Marines into a Demon Prince, a Chaos Lord, 30 Choppy Marines and a Chaplain into a Demon Prince, a Chaos Lord, and about 6 Obliterators, and some Chosen, and just killed them. Took me a few turns, took a lot of casualties, and in the end, all I had left from that choppy unit was 4 or 5 Marines. But then think about it, that was 2 Demon Princes down, all his Obliterators down, his Chaos Lord down, all his Chosen down. He had 1 Demon Prince, and this is by turn 3. End of turn 3, going to turn 4. He looked at the board and went, "I concede," because I had 40 Shooting Marines roughly. Well, I had about 25 Shooting Marines and then about 15 Choppy Marines. So about 40 Marines left over by turn 3. But all he had was like 10 cultists and a Demon Prince. And it was like, oh, yeah, shit. Actually, I wasn't keeping track of this. I've been so focused on the combats that actually, now the dust has settled, we were both really focused. You know, we've taken a step back, seen the wider picture. It's basically 40 Marines versus the Demon Prince and 10 cultists. He had a few scattered bits here and there, like a Rhino, and but it was like, holy shit, that was actually really fast and really brutal. I've just played a horde game with 100 Marines in an hour and 15 minutes, including deployment. And that was the third lesson that I learned. Well, third or fourth, whatever. That's the last lesson I learned was that, well, sort of 2 lessons from that game. One, I've got 100 guys, so that's quite a lot, but it's really easy for me to play that army quickly. I thought this list wouldn't be tournament competitive because there'd be so many guys and there'd be mixed armor saves and each squad's got different special weapons and whatnot. I thought I wouldn't be able to keep track of it, but actually I played with the army so much, I've been distilling it that it's intuitive to me now. And also, like, 100 guys isn't that much really. When I'm used to playing in a tournament with 150 to 200 guys, playing with 100 actually makes it a lot easier. So that was, this list is tournament competitive, at least from a time point of view. And the second thing that I love for this game, the last thing I want to talk about, is this list was able to take on a semi-tournament competitive list. It had a Chaos Death Star in there, it had the Nurgle bullshit trees. No, it didn't have, all the Plague Burst crawlers and all that bollocks, but it had an element of it. I'd say it was one of the toughest lists I could have fought. And, I was just able to just go in there and murderize it. And yes, it took me a while, but I did just murderize it. And I think it made me realise that this list has potential. I am seriously, no doubts, going to take this list to a casual tournament. I don't care if I lose every game. I hope I don't lose every game. But I've got faith in this list now. I think it can do stuff. And that's really exciting because it's going to be. I really, really want to take this list to a tournament just to see people's faces, to see them go, "Holy shit! It's 100 Marines." Now it's going to take me a while. I've only painted 40 Marines up, so I've got 60 Marines to go. And currently, I'm actually, I've finished my Steel Legion now. I'm just trying to get a game in with them. At the last 3 weekends, I've been unable to get a game in. I've been able to play on Tuesdays, but I've been unable to get games in at the weekends. So, with my Steel Legion. So, I'm really, really, really desperate to get a game in with them now. And also, and now that I did a bit of a binge paint session with my Steel Legion, it burnt me out a little bit. But now, but to just refresh my palette, I'm working on some Bretonians. I'm painting up 9 Bretonian Knights and a Prophetess on horse, or a Damsel on horse. That's just to refresh my palette before I go back into painting 40k. I've also got the Mysterious Army to paint up. Mostly done. That's about 80% done. I've not told you what this army is. It's secret. If I was to tell you, I'd have to kill you. That's the only hint you're getting. It's a secret army. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed sort of my feedback on the Black Tide. I just wanted to do this video because I really wanted to get the point across that this is a fluffy army, yet we've built it from the ground up to be competitive yet fluffy, and it can do it. It can do it, and Black Tide is definitely competitive. It's not going to win tournaments. If it was, people would already be running it. But you can take this list to a tournament, you can take it to any casual game, and you'll have a good chance of winning, but you will definitely have fun. And there's definitely ways you can make this list 100 3+ saves. You know, I've taken neophytes for fluff, but you could definitely, get your 100 power armor bodies on the table. Now that would be really powerful. But yeah, look, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave lots of feedback, tell me what you think, and of course, I'll see you guys next time.